Every single day, the sun races across the sky. We think of it as calm, eternal, rising each morning without fail, setting each evening in peace. But the old Norse people saw something different when they looked up. They saw a chase. Because behind the sun, always behind it, never resting, never slowing, runs a wolf. And behind the moon runs another. Two great beasts sprinting across the heavens since the beginning of time, jaws open, hungering for the light. They have been running for longer than memory, and the day they finally catch their prey is the day the world ends. Their names are Sköll and Hati, and this is the story of the endless hunt that will end all things. To understand the wolves in the sky, you must first remember the wolf in chains. Fenrir, the great wolf the gods betrayed. Raised in Asgard, feared for his power, bound forever by a magic ribbon and a broken trust. He lies chained to this day, waiting for the end of the world, when he will break free and devour Odin himself. But Fenrir left something behind. Before the chains, in the dark and tangled depths of a place called the Ironwood, a forest at the edge of the world where monstrous things are born, a giantess brought two cubs into the world, and their father was Fenrir. Two sons of the most feared wolf in all creation. They inherited his size, his hunger, and above all, they inherited his fate, a destiny written into the stars before they ever opened their eyes. For these were no ordinary wolves. These were beasts born for a single cosmic purpose. They were born to hunt the sun and the moon out of the sky. The Ironwood was no gentle place. Far to the east, beyond the lands of gods and men, it was a forest of dark, iron-leaved trees where a fearsome old giantess dwelled. And there she raised a brood of wolf giants, monstrous children in the shape of wolves, born of chaos and destined for ruin. Among all these beasts, two would rise above the rest, two who would climb higher than any wolf had ever gone, not across the earth, but into the sky itself. The Norse did not remember much about their cubhood. The old stories give us only fragments, glimpses of something too vast and too ancient to fully know. But they remembered this, that these two wolves grew with a single burning purpose in their hearts, a hunger that could never be satisfied by any prey that walked the earth. They hungered for light itself. To understand what they hunt, you must understand how the Norse saw the sky. To them, the sun and the moon were not distant balls of fire and stone. They were riders, living beings fleeing across the heavens in chariots of gold. The sun was guided by a goddess named Sol, driving her blazing chariot pulled by celestial horses across the daytime sky. And the moon was steered by a god named Mani, tracing his silver path through the night. But they did not travel in peace. They traveled in terror. Because from the moment they were placed in the sky, Sol and Mani were being hunted. They did not ride slowly across the heavens because it was beautiful. They raced, desperate, relentless, never stopping, because to slow down even for a moment meant death. They were being chased, and their hunters never, ever tired. The old tales say that Odin himself set the chase in motion. When the sun and the moon grew still and rebellious, refusing to keep their appointed course, the All-Father took the two great wolves and with ancient and terrible magic, cast them up into the heavens. And the hunt began. Sköll took the sun, Day after day, he ran behind Sol's golden chariot, jaws wide, close enough that she could feel his breath at her back, but never quite close enough to catch her. It was Sköll she feared above all else. Sköll, whose name means treachery. Sköll, who would one day overtake her. And Hati took the moon. Through every night, Hati, whose name means he who hates, pursued Mani across the darkness, gaining, always gaining, forever astride behind. Two wolves, two lights, one endless cosmic chase, playing out above the heads of every living thing, every single day and night since the dawn of the world. Think about that the next time you watch a sunrise. The Norse looked at the same sky we do, and to them, every dawn was a victory, and every dusk a narrow escape. The sun did not rise because it was morning. It rose because it was fleeing. It crossed the sky each day one leap ahead of the jaws that hungered to swallow it. And this explained everything they saw. Why does the sun move so quickly across the sky? Because it is running for its life. Why does it never stop, never rest, never linger? Because the moment it stops, the wolf will take it. To the ancient mind, the rhythm of day and night was not a peaceful cycle. It was a chase scene, frozen into the fabric of the cosmos. A race with no finish line, because the finish line was the end of everything. But sometimes, rarely, terrifyingly, the wolves drew close. The Norse had an explanation for one of the most frightening things a person could witness in the ancient world: an eclipse. The sudden, unnatural darkening of the sun in the middle of the day, the moon swallowed into shadow at night. To them, this was the wolves nearly winning. When the light dimmed and the world went cold and strange, it meant Sköll or Hati had caught up, had sunk their teeth into the sun or the moon, if only for a moment. And so the people would do the only thing they could. They would make noise. They would shout and bang on pots and shields and drums, screaming up at the sky, trying to frighten the wolf, to drive it back, to make it release the light before it was swallowed forever. And it worked. Every time the light returned, the wolf was driven off. For now. The chase resumed, but everyone knew, deep down, that it was only a matter of time. One day, the noise would not be enough. One day, the wolf would not let go. Here is the darkest truth of Sköll and Hati. They are not villains exactly. They are something far more frightening. They are inevitability itself. The wolves do not chase the sun out of cruelty. They chase because it is their nature, their purpose, the very reason they exist. And the prophecy is absolutely clear on how it ends. Not with the wolves failing, not with the sun escaping forever. The wolves win. It is written into the fate of the cosmos that one day, at Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, Sköll will finally close his jaws around the sun, and Hati will catch the moon at last. The lights that have fled across the sky since the beginning of time will be devoured, swallowed into darkness. There is no hero who stops this, no magic that prevents it. In the Norse vision of the universe, this ending is not a possibility, it is a certainty. The wolves are patient, and time is on their side. And when they succeed, the world unravels. The moment Sköll and Hati swallow the sun and the moon, the sky goes black. The stars themselves vanish from the heavens, and the long night begins, the Fimbulwinter, A terrible winter of 3 years without a single ray of sunlight, when the cold creeps into every corner of the world and the hearts of men grow as dark as the sky. This is the signal, the first domino. The devouring of the light is the event that sets everything else in motion. For with the sun and moon gone, the chains that hold their father finally shatter. Fenrir rises. The great serpent stirs in the depths of the sea. The dead sail for the shores of the living. And gods and monsters march toward the final battlefield, where the world will burn and the old order will fall. It all begins with 2 wolves and the light they have hunted since time began. The sons finish what fate decreed. The endless chase, at last, comes to an end. The Norse were not a people who looked away from hard truths. They knew winter, they knew darkness, they knew that everything, even the gods, even the sun itself, must one day come to an end. And in Sköll and Hati, they gave that knowledge a shape. 2 wolves running across the sky, reminding everyone who looked up that nothing lasts forever, that the light is always being chased, that time itself is a hunter at our backs. But there is something else in this story, something the Vikings understood better than most. The sun still rises, even knowing how it ends, even knowing the wolf is always there, always gaining. Sol still drives her chariot into the sky each and every morning. She does not give up. She does not stop running. She races the darkness with everything she has, and she wins another day, and another, and another. The wolves will win in the end, but not today. Today the light still runs. Today the sun still climbs. And there is a fierce and ancient beauty in that, in running your race, in shining your light, even when you know the night is coming. So the next time you watch the sun cross the sky, remember the wolves at its heels. Remember Sköll and Hati, the tireless hunters of the heavens. And remember that every sunrise is a small act of defiance against the dark. The chase goes on. The light still runs. And somewhere behind it, patient and eternal, the wolves are still running too. If this story stirred something in you, there's more of the wild and the legends it inspired, waiting here every week. Subscribe and listen for the call of the wild.